Hi, this is Taylor at the Public Speaking Blog. Today I want to talk to you about designing a speech. There are many sort of speech structures that you may not be familiar with, and I'll post those down in the description of the video. But right now I just want to talk high level. How do I write a speech? So you want to start with what's called a full word outline. And what a full word outline is, every single word that you're going to say in the speech, write it down in sort of an outline structure. So your Roman numerals, your letters, your numbers, and sort of create that hierarchy within an outline. So what I start with is an introduction, and what your introduction serves to do is to grab your audience. You want to get their attention. And once you have their attention, you perhaps want to say an anecdote. An anecdote will grab them and appeal to their pathos, bring them in emotionally, connect them to your story, and then bring in some what's called ethos. And what your ethos is your credibility. Who are you to be delivering the speech that you're delivering? Do you have some sort of university credential? Have you been working in the field a long time? Do you volunteer every Sunday for the last 7 years at some sort of animal shelter and your speech is in regards to animal shelters? Give your audience a reason to believe you. And once you've done that, you move in and you transition into the body of your speech. So I usually do this with the Roman numeral 2. And what I do with the body, I actually write out what the transition is that I'm moving into. And then I'm going to throw down some facts. I'm going to throw down some logos. I'm going to say, all right, so now you're connected to me on a pathos appeal. You believe me. You believe my ethos. And now we're going to bring some logos. I'm going to bring in some outside sources, some academic sources that now basically force you to say, okay, well now Harvard research has shown this, or a study at Stanford has shown this, and you bring in some real facts that make your point believable. And this is where you bring in your statistics, and try not to make them too wordy, but bring in some heavy-hitting statistics that really give credibility to your argument. And then finally, you transition again into your conclusion. And what your conclusion serves to do is actually tie everything together, rehash everything. Go through your points that you went through in your body, maybe rehash a statistic, and then hit them hard with a statement, an ending statement that they're going to remember. Don't end your speech with something like, thank you guys. End your speech with something like, you can make a difference, or something that they'll remember. I can make a difference. They're going to leave that room, and they're going to hear a bunch of speeches. And when they think about yours, you want them to remember your final statement. You want it to be that powerful. So that's what a full outline does. Now, when designing a speech, you want to create two outlines. You want to create your full word outline, and you want to create a keyword outline. And your keyword outline is actually what you're going to bring to present on the stage or on the podium, wherever you're presenting. And what that does is just one word per Roman numeral, per point in your outline that allows you to remember where you are. So for me, if I'm going to tell an anecdote, on my keyword outline, all I put is anecdote. And I should have practiced enough to where I remember my anecdote. So if I get lost after, let's just say my body, I'm on point 2 in my body of my speech, and I say a fact, and then I'm like, what do I say next? I quickly look down, and it'll say something like Harvard research study. And I'm like, oh, okay, I refer to that, and I don't get lost. So there's a little pause there if I get lost, but I'm not going to say, but, pause, gather yourself, look down quietly, continue. That's what a key outline serves you for. So once you've developed your full outline, your keyword outline, practice. So how do you practice? I practice with gestures, and I practice standing up or sitting down. However I'm going to be delivering the speech, that's the state that I practice my speech in. So if I'm standing up, which I normally do my speeches standing up, I practice standing up. And I have my keyword outline in front of me, and I practice my speech as if there was an audience in front of me. So practicing in the mirror is a really great tool because you can see the way you're looking. Am I making eye contact? Am I moving? Are my gestures intentional? We talked about that in a previous video. Are my movements and gestures intentional while I'm delivering my speech? And I like to deliver my speech 7 times perfectly before I go and present it in front of a group of people. So what does a keyword outline serve you for? Like, what's it good for? Well, I don't want to memorize my speech. That's horrible because if you mess up a word, all of a sudden you're stumbling over your words and you have to go back, well, wait, what did I memorize? And then you have to start the whole point over again. I do keyword outlines so that I can give a speech 20 times and they might be a little different every time because I know my subject matter well enough to where I can go off a keyword and then go. If I have memorized speech and I'm flustered, I'm stressed, I'm tired, I didn't eat that day, and for whatever reason my memory is just struggling, then my speech is going to be awful. I'm going to stumble over myself. And oftentimes when you memorize a speech, you forget your first sentence. And then what do? You're sitting there pausing. Can I start over? That's your introduction. That's what you're going to say. Oh, can I start over? That's memorable for all the wrong reasons. So when designing a speech, you want to create a full word outline, which includes your introduction that's catchy, your anecdote, which brings people in on a pathos level, your ethos, which gives you credibility, and then in your body, you throw down the logos. You throw the facts, then you wrap everything up in a conclusion and hit them hard with something they'll remember. Then iterate this into a keyword outline, and that's what you practice on. Practice 7 times and don't memorize. Once you've done this and you feel comfortable, you might go off your script a little bit, but you know that you'll have your timing right and that you know that your speech will be generally what you sought out to deliver in the first place. Those are my thoughts on designing speeches. I'm going to go into structure a little bit later, but that's just kind of the general high level, how do I design a speech? If you have any questions, leave them below in the comments or email me at thepublicspeakingblog@gmail.com.